Hi, and Mike Pache from LiveNOW. And we also have Ron Hoon. He's going to come in, and we've got a sippy cup for all you who are joining us, because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
We bring the sippy cup. Full of water. Okay, so and say hello in the chat. We're gonna put and I think Big D, I think he put the poll question in the chat for all of you this morning as well. So thank you all for joining in this morning on TV and on YouTube as well. We love chatting with you guys. We're gonna bring Ron in just a quick moment. Are we ready to go with Ron, Dave?
Yep.
All right, buddy. Let's go ahead right to Ron.
There he is.
Good morning, buddy.
Hello.
So you would be happy to see. Let me just let you know.
With you three and me joining from the great state of Minnesota, this is like a winning combination.
It is. Our thumbnail is you, and it says Ron vacationing with the stars.
That's fantastic. Well, first of all, look, there are so many beautiful places in Minnesota. By the way, there are some other morning shows around a town that are, doing 50 states in 50 days. That's just brushing by. You can get nothing in like a day. I've been in Minnesota for close to a week. I'm about to wrap it up. Would you look at those beautiful, this setting? I'm in a little town called Shakopee, which is a suburb of Minneapolis. And the ducks, it's like I cued them to show up right in the middle of the live shot. So have you guys been enjoying what we've been doing so far?
Oh, absolutely. And Ronnie, it looks like, a quintessential like Norman Rockwell background there that you have,
Yeah, right. I know. And by the way, yesterday when I was at a DQ, I bet you they must have 500 Dairy Queens in the state of Minnesota. They're everywhere. But I rolled down the window to get my dipped cone, and I thought, ooh, it's a little chilly up here. I think it was 68 degrees. That's why people live up here in the summer and come to the valley in the winter.
Ron, are you telling me you finally got your sweater weather we've been talking about?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. Isabella, that's correct. You guys, Isabella found someplace cold to go last week. She went up to Seattle. Now here I am up in the Twin Cities. But yeah, that's a great introduction, Syleste. Let's get right to the story itself. Remember yesterday morning, I was at Bob Dylan's house. Mm-hmm. And you said, well, why don't you go knock on the door? And I said, well, there's a sign. I got to call first. So I called. And the owner of the house, Bill, right, there's Bob Dylan's house right there. He said, okay, I can be there to unlock the door in 5 minutes. And I got inside. There were plenty of things. He said, please don't take a picture of this or that. I got to get the family's permission. But check out this next pic. I love this so much. A rare photo that I captured inside of the Dylan family. Now, remember, Bob Dylan changed his name. I'm going to show you that next picture as we just kind of roll through here. That is a 4-generation shot.
Wow.
That is great grandma Libba. And then to the right of her, that's his grandmother Florence. And then upper left, that's his mom Beatty. Beatty. And that's Bob Dylan, or Bob Zimmerman at the time, as a little 2-year-old. They couldn't get him to smile. He was like every other 2-year-old on the planet.
Oh my gosh, he's such a chunky monkey. He's so cute. And you know what? Polka dots are back in, ladies and gentlemen.
They are.
So.
Oh, is that right? Now, he wanted to go be a gopher at the University of Minnesota. So you grow up in a town like Hibbing, you want to go to Minnesota. And that was a student gathering at the Hillel Center on campus there at the University of Minnesota. He was right next to the guy with the guitar. That's probably the only time he let somebody else star. From the rest of time, he was the man with the guitar. Mm-hmm. And this was amazing. These are lyrics to one of his songs, handwritten by the man himself, Memphis Blues.
Wow. Look at that.
I just couldn't fathom the artifacts and the pictures I was getting to see inside the house.
So Ron, you know what's cool about that is that he took notes like the rest of us. Like you have like a note on the side with an arrow. You're like, okay, this goes with
yeah. Right. I've seen your hand scratch, Syleste, let me tell you. Now, here's one more thing. Look at this. This is so cool. This is Bob Dylan's bedroom. And anybody who grew up in the 60s. There's a clock radio on the bed. And then after Bob won the Nobel Prize for Literature, Bill, who owns the house, went out and found as many old Tarzan books because Bob Dylan loved reading Tarzan as a kid. And so he just put it right there at the collection. That's the man himself.
Oh, wow.
There's Bill Pagel. This is a labor of love for him. If you are ever in Minnesota, and I mean, if you're within 200 miles of Hibbing, come on by. If the sign is out that day, you just call the phone number, and he may very well just take you on a tour.
Wow. So what is, the sign just has his number, Ron, and he'll
Wow. It's Mike, it's the most low-key thing. You know, maybe 50 years from now, it'll be owned by a foundation or the Historical Society or whatever. But for now, it's just, hey, want a tour? Call Bill. I'll unlock the place in 5 minutes. I mean, as I left, there was another group that was coming through to get a tour at 1 o'clock. And then as they left, there was another group coming by for a tour at 2 o'clock. So he loves Bob Dylan stories. He has 1,000 of them. I was really privileged to be inside that home.
I wonder if it was with the biopic, you know, recently, like in the last few years, if he was just totally just bombarded by people. He looks like a friendly fellow, though.
Oh, he's the nicest guy. And you're exactly right, Celeste. That movie, in terms of biopics of musical stars, look, it's not the Taylor Swift category, but I did some digging. It's made $140 million worldwide, which is a big number for a biopic. So, yeah, the legend only grows for one Robert Zimmerman, now Bob Dylan.
We do have a question from Brandy the Bookworm. She says, what other famous stars have you, like their homes, have you been to? And what was your favorite?
Ooh, oh, that's a great question. You know, do you remember about 15 years ago, I guess this is in the star category, he was a famous guy. Remember when David McCullough came out with the book, John Adams? I so fell in love with the story of John Adams. I literally took a 3-day trip and flew to Boston to go tour John Adams' house, which is in a little suburb called Quincy, Mass. And for me, it was just incredible.
Wow.
Oh,
pretty cool.
But you know what? To answer Brandy's question, in the here and now, I have one more BO I'm going to share with you guys. 30 miles down the road from Hibbing, another famous star grew up, and I'm talking about Judy Garland. Look at that picture right there, you guys. Do you remember 15 years ago the story of when the ruby red slippers got stolen from the museum, the Judy Garland Museum? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's the pedestal that they stood on.
Wow.
And I'm happy to tell you, through great detective work, they only cracked the case a few years ago. They found the slippers. A local guy had swiped them, thought they were actually made of real rubies. When he found out they weren't, he just buried the slippers in his backyard, and there they stayed for years and years and years. It was big news when they were stolen. It wasn't such a big story when they cracked the case, but they are not back at the museum. They're back with the owner of the shoes, who, by the way, put them up for auction and sold them for many, many millions of dollars.
Wow, so amazing. My goodness.
Oh, by the way, look at this. There's a Warhol. This museum, so it's 30 miles away from Hibbing. It's in a town called Grand Rapids, Minnesota. They have an authentic Andy Warhol that he painted, or, the way he does his artwork, for her children, for Judy Garland's children. And you can go in her childhood home as well in that little town. And it was just like back-to-back mega stars. They didn't know each other. They were both different time frames. But when the movie The Wizard of Oz came out, ladies, you're going to love this one. That's a page from the Sears catalog.
Oh, my goodness.
Get the dresses that Judy Garland wears for $2.98.
Can you imagine? I cannot find a single place that would sell dresses that cheap. in this.
Well, a Diet Coke costs you almost $2 these days.
Yeah, I know. Celeste, good point. Good point.
You know, Ron, we're getting some comments in the chat this morning. Troy says Ron's legendary status just continues to grow.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. Troy, contact me. I need a new agent. You'll be the guy.
And folks are loving, Ron, the background that you have with that the lake and the ducks and the whole thing. It's very relaxing.
It is.
It is.
And Ron,
it's kind of a zen.
The different celebrities that you've just showcased. I mean, talk about slices of Americana.
Yeah.
All, within just a small radius of where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
It's really true. I mean, I set out this week. I said, I'm going to go explore a state once a year for an entire week. I chose Minnesota to start. And a couple of surprises, one of which was how many people up here know Fox 10. I mean, I have met the guy that gave me the Gangsterland tour. He comes down to the valley with a bunch of old broadcasters. They play golf, go to spring training games. He recognized me right away and said, "Oh, Fox 10."
I thought
when I was at the lighthouse, the lady there, she comes down to Mesa every year because her folks live there. So there's a great Minnesota to Arizona connection that I really didn't appreciate.
Well, and our boss is from Minnesota. Steve.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard. Yeah. Yeah.
He was loving your the image of the lake there in Duluth. I was chatting with him a couple of days ago. Ron, by the way, I thought you were going to say he comes down to Arizona with a bunch of broads, but you finished the word. I was like, wow.
Well, who knows? Maybe some of that happens somewhere, but not with that guy.
Okay, we're going to get to the. We want to keep you on, Ron, and we want to get to the T-shirt giveaway, our T-shirt winner. So we're gonna throw. Yeah.
Okay, it's free shirt Thursday today.
Yes. How did you know? Can you see?
These
on
are
your
the
phone?
ones we already gave away. I got you.
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
congratulations to Jesse Posadas, who got one of the shirts, and Jesse, thank you for watching and hanging and being a member of the FTT family.
Yeah, and also then showcasing the pic as well. That's
I know.
nice.
It's a great photo. Congratulations.
Ron, we need one with you now with that Fox 10 Talks. You took one of those photos, yeah?
Yeah, I actually I'm going to post to my YouTube channel. I got a little YouTube channel where I do all these history videos of me at Bob Dylan's house and a few more stories. So I'll be posting that later today.
All right, buddy. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Ron. We love seeing you, buddy. We miss you here in studio, but this is like amazing. We love that image of you. Are you going to jump in the lake to close us out here before the break?
Celeste, I did that once about 20 years ago at Lake Tahoe, and it took me an hour to warm up. So no.
Oh my goodness. All right, buddy. We'll see you later. Safe
care,
travels.
Bye, Ron.
Okay, bye, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, terrific. All right. Sherri, can you speak so we can check your mic?
Sure. Sherri Greenberg.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We have that music back for you. I know some of you in the chat yesterday say, hey, where's our break music? We heard your cries and we have responded, the powers that be here behind the scenes. So big thank you to the crew. This is your mystery camera this morning. I know it got kind of late to get that to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw it up for you right now, give you some time to respond on the mystery camera. Pretty houses.
It really is.
Yeah, so nice. And then we'll make the announcement maybe after the 10:30, after the break at the top of the 10:30, we'll announce where the mystery camera is located. But let's go ahead and we are going to shift gears just a little bit and welcome on in Anita Roman.
Good morning,
to the streaming
everyone.
studio. Good to see you.
You too.
We are chatting about the Texas redistricting issue. And Mike, you all been talking about this as well.
Yeah, this has been big for Live Now from Fox. It's it was supposed to be a special session where Republicans, want to redistrict parts of Texas. They're hoping to get about 5 extra seats before the midterms. Well, Democrats have jump shipped. They have left the state.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, they have left the state. They have showed up to different Democratic states like California, Illinois, and Massachusetts, and they're talking with the local government, officials there like J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois, Governor Gavin Newsom of California, trying to build support on their mission here to delay this vote. And really, because they're not there, they can't have a quorum for the Texas House. So they're not able to proceed with this vote. So it's kind of just hanging in the balance in Texas.
Interesting, because I'm from Illinois, and they fled to Illinois, and they did this in Illinois. I have to look it up to get to the. But I know Governor Pritzker was on Stephen Colbert's show. I believe it was Monday, and even Stephen Colbert was giving Governor Pritzker a hard time about this redistricting. And so, is this, because you're way more knowledgeable than we are, is this something that both parties have done in the past historically? And if so, I mean, what states, how many times, and has it proven beneficial?
Well, yeah, when you mentioned Illinois there, because he shows them the map, I mean, there's parts of Illinois that are heavily gerrymandered as well. But, it all goes, the people that have the party that has the power always has the pressure then, right?
That is so true. All right, to help us kind of break this down a little bit more, we're going to bring in Sherri Greenberg. Sherri, good morning to you. You're a professor there at the University of Texas in Austin, in the Lone Star State's capital. Thank you for your time. And, of course, you have a long list of credentials. You're a professor of practice and fellow of the Max Sherman Chair in State and Local Government at the LBJ School of Public Affairs, and very knowledgeable about this issue. What are your thoughts on kind of what happens next, and how long will this take?
So this is not the first time we have seen this. Breaking the quorum is something that has occurred in Texas for many, many years, going back in history. The first time we saw it with redistricting was in 2003, which was the first time there was redistricting in the middle of the decade, which is unusual. That was sparked by Tom DeLay when he was in Congress. What we're seeing now is an evolving situation. The governor has said that he will call another special session when this one ends tomorrow, Friday, and he can do that. He 30-day special sessions. The Democrats are trying to figure out their next move. And no one ever thought that they would be able to stay out of the state forever, right? They have families, they have jobs, and so on and so forth. This is a dance that's going on with the governor putting on pressure, and the Democrats looking to draw national attention to the situation, and it looks like other states will be drawn in. As far as the Democrats who are in Illinois, they cannot be forced out by Illinois. However, they can on their own return to Texas. And right now, sources say that they are trying to decide their next move. Will they come back this weekend? Will some of them come back? All of them? What will be their next move, and how will this proceed?
Yeah, and the Republicans in Texas have really ramped up the pressure on these Democrats. In fact, even suspending direct deposit for their pay. So they're saying that if you want to get your paycheck, you have to come to Texas and grab the actual paper check. So, Sherri, my question to you is are these Democrats getting funding from some other sources to keep them afloat while they're in these different states?
You know, I don't have the specifics to answer that. What I can tell you, though, is that legislative pay is very low in Texas. So a bigger issue for them may not be that they're not getting their legislative pay because it's so low, but that they're not able to work and get, income that they otherwise would be from working in the interim.
So, Sherri, are there other things that are not getting done? What are, I know that there's a big issue that forced them out and that's why they left, but the redistricting. But are there other issues also, of course, that are important to Texans that are not being addressed because they're not there?
So the governor is the only one who can determine what's on a special session. Only the governor can call a special session, and only the governor can determine the agenda, which is completely different from a regular session. There are other items that the governor has put on this special session. And of course, one that there are a couple that are drawing a lot of attention. One would be doing away with medical abortion. And another one is the ramifications from the flooding that we saw over 4th of July in the Hill Country, which was, of course, a horrible situation. The Democrats have said they wanted that addressed first, that should be the most pressing matter to the people of Texas. They broke the quorum. That was not happening. Redistricting is the first thing that the governor wanted addressed.
All right. We thank you for your time, Sherri. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your insight. And hopefully, we can call on you again very soon when this hopefully comes to a close. In the coming days. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
We also have this morning another interview, great interview to bring you. Let's go ahead and bring in this morning Asher Reed. Asher Red. My apologies, Asher. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you as well.
Okay, hold on one second. We're working our way through it. And while we wait for you to do we have his audio? Oh, here we go. Asher, how are you, my friend? What's happening in Tennessee? I know there's a lot of people being affected by some storm activity.
Yeah, well, right now, a lot of people are trying to protect themselves. So right now, it looks like a normal day, a normal summer day. It's hot. For the most part, clear skies. But there's some showers that are coming in later today that people are concerned about because they just went through a round of flooding on Tuesday. And so a lot of people are stacking sandbags up near their property line to protect themselves in case flooding happens again in the near future. So on Tuesday, 6 inches of rain, more than 6 inches of rain, fell here in the Chattanooga area, and it was the second wettest day on record for the city of Chattanooga. Throw it back to 2011, there was a day where they had 9 inches of rain, and this is second to that. And some people are preparing now for this possibility of even more floods because this ground is so waterlogged, it cannot hold any more water. But they're also still cleaning up from Tuesday's floods as well. There have been 4 deaths so far, according to the Chattanooga Fire Department. 3 of those deaths were a couple and their child when the floodwaters knocked a tree into their car, and dozens of other rescues have happened as well. We're looking at dozens of rescues from cars, homes. Interstate 24 was shut down. That runs right through downtown Chattanooga because it was under several feet of water. And lastly, 400 911 calls came in Tuesday afternoon during those floods. And they think the state of emergency that's happening right now could last another 7 days at max if conditions don't get better.
Asher, talk a little bit about, I think that in your live shot, we did see, obviously, those sandbags, but we saw a little bit of debris in the roadway as well. No doubt left over from the rain that you were just talking about, the several inches that fell just within the past couple of days. The concern, obviously, when you have situations like that, you don't have time to clean everything up before that next round of storm hits, is that it's just going to keep piling one on top of the other on top of the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that makes for an even more difficult cleanup process. You know, I was in Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton last year, and I can tell you, I went to Milton in Tampa, and they were already dealing with debris issues of their own. And I'd hate to bring a hurricane in and compare that to a flood, but it's similar in regard to now they're going to have even more debris to clean up if the ground floods again. It's not for sure if it's going to flood. Right now, it looks like I said, a perfect summer day. But if that's the case, that is a concern for some people.
All right. Thank you, Asher. We appreciate it. Be safe out there. We will definitely keep an eye on those storms.
Yeah, Asher, thank you so much. It is tough when you take a look at some of those images and what those people in that part of the country are dealing with. I have never personally been through that type of a situation, you know, where you're being threatened by hurricanes or those huge storms that come through and drop so much rain that you have feet of flooding.
And you just know that the water has so much damage it's able to create. But what's interesting and so fascinating when you see these different natural disasters is that when it hits, there's so many people in the community helping each other.
Yeah.
You see that throughout, and you're thinking, man, they just probably went through the worst time in their lives, and they're helping each other.
I know there's a sense
Mike
of
and I are
community.
both from Midwest, and so we had to deal with the tornadoes.
Right.
And that's something that you don't ever forget, the devastation and the destruction. And unlike the floods, I think floods are a little bit more widespread. You know, they're going to take down that whole neighborhood or that whole area. Whereas a tornado, the one thing that covering those tornadoes in the Midwest was always interesting was that it might take out a house or two and then spare the house next to it.
It kind of jumps.
And the devastation, it really is. And you can't stop any of these natural disasters. You can prepare as much as you want, but you really don't know which way things are going to go.
And I think it's a mindset. But we were flying into Indianapolis once, and the woman next to me, she said, "Oh, my husband just texted me. There's a tornado warning." And she lived in the northern portion of Indianapolis, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh my gosh, tornado!" Are
we okay?
Yeah, out west, you're thinking, we're coming in for a landing, and there's a tornado warning in Indianapolis. And she was like, "Well, he's watching.
It's fine. It's just a warning. It's not a watch."
Yeah, she was like, "It's a warning. It's okay. We're going to be okay." And then he would text a few minutes later, and then he's like, "Actually, it's moving off to the northeast."
We're fine.
And so,
You're
but
good.
it was funny the way she was from Indianapolis, lived there her whole life, and it was a mindset.
It is. You get used to it. You get
and just something you live through.
Paul Humphrey says, "I've been through flooding multiple times living in Vermont," which is really interesting. And then Troy said, "My buddy has family in Wisconsin. He said he got an inch of rain within 30 minutes, and they received a foot of rain." I haven't reached out to my parents, so I don't know how bad it is there because they're right there in that area where they were having a lot of activity as well.
So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's go to the mystery camera as well. This is actually a new one. And so we'll talk about where this is coming up after the break.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, here at 10:30 on your Thursday. This is, we're not sure.
If anybody has any really good, solid guesses, throw them our way.
I think where it isn't.
It looks like an absolutely fun water park.
Patricia Randolph is on, and she's usually right on the money. She says maybe somewhere in Pennsylvania. We're making some calls to see, but if you guessed on the other mystery camera, we're going to try to get back to that one. We're reaching out to the powers that be behind the scenes to see if we can pull that one back up for you, but we will get that for you this morning because we know how much you guys love the mystery cam, and we love it too. We love to share that moment with you as well. Have you guys heard about these Skechers?
What Skechers?
These Skechers that are out where you have trackers in the Sketcher.
So instead of taking a little air tag and maybe putting it on your laces, your kids' laces, or sneaking it in there somewhere.
Yes.
This is built in for you.
Yes. So there's the tracker.
Okay.
And the woman just held up the sneaker. There it is. Oh. This is how you put it in. Mm-hmm. And it's called the Go-Go mat that you just saw. And then you're able to track your child on the phone. So it's like Life 360, but in your shoe.
The shoe comes with the tracker. You don't have to purchase your own tracker?
That's a really good question, and I'm glad you asked it. Because this morning we have Marc Rosco with us with Skechers. Marc, can you hear me okay, my friend?
I can hear you. Thank you.
Hey, look at you. And you, my friend, this is exciting for Skechers. I think a lot of people are talking about it. We had it as one of our big talkers earlier this week because I think the idea for parents to be able to track their kids, it's not a new one, but this is a new way to do it.
And really quickly, Marc, my husband wears Skechers, and hey, I'll track him, no problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Does he come in adult sizes too?
It's so interesting what's happened because I was part of the team that conceptualized and developed this Find My Skechers technology. And, Skechers as a company, we design products for the specific needs of children. And through our experience and focus groups, we know that children misplace their shoes all the time. Mm-hmm. And this was the genesis of the concept to build something where parents can actually track the shoes. Because we've heard stories from our buyers that children misplace the left or the right, or they throw them out of the car window in the car and they can't find them.
Oh my gosh.
So this was one of the ways that this was the idea behind it. So now what we're seeing, our customer is basically 4 to 12 years old. And if the parents choose to enable what is a fully functional gym shoe to monitor the location of their young child, I just view that as an enhanced parental peace of mind benefit.
Mm-hmm. There is some people that are voicing some thoughts about this in our chat. And one of our chatters in the chat box said that Brandy the bookworm, she said, my boyfriend's brother and his wife have sewed an air tag into their 5-year-old daughter's hair bow and some of her clothes, since she has autism and she's nonverbal. Mm-hmm. And so I think that what you guys, the thought process behind it, I think is brilliant. As a mother of 3 school-age kids, I think this is like, where's the left? Where's the right? What's happening? And where's my kid, by the way? How did this, I guess, transform into this idea that you could track your kid, not just the shoe? Or was that part of it?
Well, I think in today's day and age, GPS, Apple AirTags, tiles are ubiquitous. And like you said, many, many people will put an AirTag in their child's backpack before they go to school. Mm-hmm. They'll sew it into their clothing. We just came up with another idea for our shoe as a matter of convenience, can be used in a very discreet manner to also put an AirTag. And if the parent chooses to track their child through that method, we think it's great. We love the peace of mind aspect for the parent.
Okay, Marc. So how does it work then? Does the shoe come with the actual little tracking device? And then do you have to download an app into phone? Is this iPhone, Android, as well as Apple product? Do you have to pay for the app? Do you pay for the service? Is it all included in the price of the shoe? And how much does shoe cost?
Okay, great questions. The shoe is about $50 retail. Now, it does not come with an Apple AirTag. It merely comes with the compartments. It's developed with the compartment underneath the insole where the child cannot feel it, you cannot see it, cannot feel it. It's completely comfortable, but it's embedded into a TPU box that protects it and helps keep it water resistant and so forth. The technology itself, so the shoe does not come with it. The parent, again, it's their choice if they want to choose to purchase an AirTag to drop in. And it is compatible with Apple AirTags, and the Find My app comes on all iPhones.
Sure, yeah.
So people use them to track their keys. So they don't lose their keys in the house or wherever, their wallets, luggage, and so forth. So like I said, it's fairly ubiquitous at this point. I mean, I use it. I have one hanging off my dog. I have one on my luggage. So I keep it. I use them in various ways. And that was one of the genesis of the idea itself.
So is this the first time that you've seen it done in a shoe? And is it like something you all have patented? And I'm guessing this is going to be something that other shoe companies may want to do. Have you heard from anybody else in the shoe industry that says, hey, Marc, hey, Skechers, this is actually a brilliant idea. How can we get in on it? Or what are you hearing in your industry?
Well, the feedback from our buyers who buy our shoes for chains across, footwear chains across the world, love the idea. They've just thought that they think it's a spectacular peace of mind, additional feature that you can offer to help find the shoes and the other ways that we can have peace of mind. But no one at this point, the product just released in July, so it is brand new. The feedback has been extraordinary. The product is selling incredibly well in our stores and other retailers that carry it. So we're thrilled with the initial result, and the response in the general media has been outstanding as well. So we've been getting a lot of interest, far more than I'm used to, but we're really pleased to see it. So we're really glad. We do have patents pending on this invention. So the product is labeled patent pending, and we're waiting for those to come through. So we're really excited about that as well.
So Marc, again, what sizes will it be available for? Where will people be able to purchase? And if it is only kids, will you think about putting this into adults? Because, I was at a memory home yesterday putting a piece together, and we do have adults who have entered stages of dementia and Alzheimer's, and their caretakers. I mean, that might be a wonderful idea to use for them as well.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
We have heard that. In fact, just before I got on this interview, I received an email from our customer service suggesting how it could be beneficial for Alzheimer's patients and so forth. But as of now, we developed it for children and for the use of parents. That's the only way we have it developed. We have it developed at the moment. So I don't know what will happen on our adult side of the business. I'm only in charge of our kids piece of the business, but
you should be in charge of both, Marc. This is a good idea.
At Skechers, at Skechers.com, of course. Famous Footwear, Shoe Carnival, Nordstrom, any of our accounts, Rack Room Footwear across the country and globally for that matter.
So, Marc, we do have a question in the chat, and here's Johnny. He's asking, he says, any thoughts about teaming up with the abducted children's alerts or, anything like that, the authorities or police? I'm sure you all, when you're brainstorming about these things, it's, you're thinking about all the possible ways this could, in fact, help children and families in the community.
And we did. I think that the reaction to this peace of mind for the parent in terms of knowing where their child is in a mall or in an amusement park or, God forbid, the risk of abduction. This is all fairly new to us because, as I said, the original motivation behind the development was honestly for the shoes and locating the shoes. And we're seeing this secondary benefit that's just getting an incredible buzz. So we're going to be talking about this, and we have been talking about it increasingly, and we're going to see where it leads. Because I do think there might be some other really valid ways to use this technology and to help many other people.
Yeah, Marc Rosco.
incredible.
Yeah,
And by the way, I just looked on the website. It says they're 30% off.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Hey, good deal.
with a code.
Back to
Yeah,
school.
30% off
Back to
applied
school
at
time.
cart all the way through 8/19.
Yeah, this time of year is actually we're in our back to school time period, which is our busiest time of the year for kids footwear. So there's some good promotions going on. So that's great.
Marc Rosco, thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time with Skechers. We appreciate it. And when you all start to have those types of conversations about branching out into memory care locations or older adult style, we would love to chat with you again and just get additional details. So kudos to you, because I think a lot of different people in the community could definitely help, get some help from this. Thank
Definitely.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the conversation. Thank you
Have
very
a
much.
great day.
Thank you.
We want to give a big shout out now to a couple of you in the chat. I believe it's Steve Dockstader. I hope I said your last name right. He says, I love this deeper dive format. Way to go, Fox 10. And Steve, we're glad that you're here and we're glad that you love it, because there's a lot of times, I think, on a typical newscast or a typical show that we have 3 minutes. Like normally, if we would have had Marc live, we would have had 3.5, maybe 4 minutes. But it's nice to get all the information and see, what the brainstorm process was like and how the inception of the idea and where it's going in the future.
And I like the comments as well, because I feel like we're all
so
having a
good.
conversation. For example, as we're interviewing Marc,
Right.
Isabella puts in the chat that she used her AirTag this morning because your car was missing.
Yeah.
Okay, we need details on this, because that's like a wow factor. Okay, first of all, are you having a better morning right now?
I am now
Okay,
that I'm
good.
with you guys, and
Okay.
we're in our Fox 10 talk show. But yeah, I had my regular morning. I'm walking out to my parking garage, my apartment, and I click my car because I always forget where I park. And I don't hear my car.
Oh
I'm
no.
like, where's my car? And I look everywhere and I don't hear it at all. So I thankfully put an Apple AirTag in my car. I hid it in my car.
On purpose.
On
You
purpose.
did that knowing that
I
maybe one
did.
day you would need to find it.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yes.
Wow,
So
that's
I go
smart.
on the Find My iPhone or whatever app, and it refreshes. In my car, it goes, 10 miles away. And I zoom out, and it says it's at a towing place. So that was my morning. I had to get my car. I was towed. I'm here now, but I'm so thankful I had that AirTag
You never
in my
would've
car
known.
because I wouldn't have known. Yeah.
My goodness, we're glad you're okay, and we'll
Thank you.
continue to have this conversation. Many of you were chiming in on the mystery cam, and do we want to give Big D? Do you have the answer? No, this is. Oh
This
yeah, it is the original.
Yeah, it's in the paper there.
Do you want to do the big reveal, Anita?
Is everyone ready?
Go
This
for
is
it.
not it.
Oh, we'll be right back with the answer.
Oh my gosh. Now.
All right, welcome back. Mystery Cam time, and we have a few answers in here. Maybe Ocean City, DeYoung says. And the mystery camera, yes, we are holding it because the powers that be behind the scenes.
Dave.
No, not Dave. Dino.
Oh, Dino.
Yeah, Dino,
Dean.
because we had switched the mystery cam at 10:15, and he didn't know that we were not that we needed more time. So we have Rhode Island from Cherie Wolf. I kind of scanned up a little bit farther to see. We've got Louis Gonzalez in Nevada, Cape May, New Jersey.
Is it safe to say it's not Tucson?
You know what? I think Melinda may have thrown in there that it is Tucson.
I can tell you right now, it is not Tucson. It is not
Michael
Tucson.
Donovan says Galveston. Looks like Galveston. Patricia Randolph says Margate City, New Jersey.
Patricia, you're close.
I'm going to go with New Jersey as well. And the
I have it.
The sheet that I gave Anita, we have a lot of these.
We have a lot of paper
around
on the desk.
It's been a very
lot
busy
of
morning.
paper.
So I handed one of these to Anita, and it was the rundown for the show.
Look at all the
and
papers.
Yeah, we have a lot going on here
look at all the
because
papers.
the girls who gab, we're busy. We're busy here. Okay, Anita, would you
guys
like to
ready?
do the honors?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Ooh, what is that?
Stone Harbor, New Jersey.
Stone Harbor, New Jersey. Nice job. All of you who chimed in and said, you know what, that's New Jersey.
Linda
That's
got it
Jersey.
correct.
Yeah, nice work.
Nice job, Linda.
Nice job.
Linda, yeah, you get point. You don't have to be
She's
like
good.
super specific.
Yeah,
Unless
no.
you're Ron Hoon.
Then
we need specific. Yes. We need like
It's only fair.
longitude, latitude. Because he knows.
Well, we usually
Zip
do.
code.
And for a long time, we were just doing the state.
Yeah.
But then I think
Yeah.
Patricia brought it and started doing the city.
Okay.
So now a lot of people end up doing the
That's
city.
a fun one.
Yeah, it is. Husky
Think they're
Mom
having a
threw
good
in
time
Vermont.
out there?
Yeah.
I think so.
A great time. We have one just like it at Lake Pleasant, by the way, during the summer months. We are talking about your pets this morning, and we have a special guest with us talking about canine distemper. Cases are on the rise here in the Valley and across the nation, and maybe it's something that you're not sure. Hey, what is that? What does it mean? What are some of the signs that we need to look for? So this morning, we are chatting with Dr. Jerry Klein, Chief Veterinarian from the American Kennel Club this morning. Dr. Klein, good to see you. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Nice to be here.
Yeah. I think in the Valley, when we hear that these canine distemper cases are on the rise, it's a bit troubling. What is canine distemper?
Well, it's a contagious and serious disease caused by the canine distemper virus. It's kind of related in the same group as measles to people, but it's actually different in the sense that it causes a higher mortality in dogs. Dogs get a lot sicker. And it's not just dogs, but it can happen to ferrets and wildlife as well, like raccoons, skunks, foxes, coyotes. And dogs can get very sick. And some dogs can die. And there's no cure for it. You just have to treat it symptomatically.
Before we get to the symptoms, let's talk about how it spreads. How do the dogs get this?
Well, they get infected through body fluids, primarily coughing or even barking, saliva. Sometimes with distemper can also pass in urine and feces, but primarily through respiratory aerosol contamination.
So if you're walking your dog down the sidewalk, what are the chances of getting that versus taking your dog to the dog park, for example?
Well, I think that, what we saw with humans with COVID, we know now how certain respiratory viruses can affect other people. And this is in a similar way with other dogs. So it has to be within a certain area. If a dog coughs or they sniff each other and they get in contact with each other. But also it's important to know that they can also contract it if there's a shared water or food bowl, which a lot of dog parks have. And what's also concerning is, especially in areas that may not be fenced off, infected wildlife could get access to those bowls or things like that. And that would be problematic as well.
When you some of the information you went over it, but runny noses and eyes, vomiting, loss of appetite. I mean, sometimes those things, maybe your dog ate something that it shouldn't have, or it had a stomach ache from maybe a new food or something. When is it? When should you take your dog in, and when is there time to be alarmed and not to be alarmed?
Well, that's a great question. I think it depends on the severity of it and the length and duration. These dogs get very sick fairly quickly. They get a fever, they stop eating, they get really snotty discharges from their eyes and their nose, so it doesn't look like something mild. And the vomiting is usually accompanied by respiratory signs, so there's a combination of things. And in severe cases, they can also have neurologic signs as well, things like chewing motions of their mouth, and even going into fits or seizures. So we don't want to wait that long, certainly. I think in any case, when you're not sure how sick your dog is, should always call your veterinarian. And especially if you have a dog that may be a young dog, less than 4 months of age, they're exceedingly vulnerable, or a dog that may not have vaccines.
Okay, we have a question in the chat asking about those vaccines. Is the distemper vaccine an annual injection? And then I have a question for you too, is will they be displaying one, some, or all of these symptoms?
Great question as well. I think usually the thing about distemper, they have a combination, but even if the coughing is severe enough with discharges that are excessive from the nose and the eyes, that's not typical, so you should call your vet. The first thing you should do is isolate your dog if your dog is sick. Just like we learned about people, the same holds true with dogs. We don't want to get other dogs in our community sick that might be vulnerable. And I'm sorry, I forgot the first.
The vaccines.
Mm-hmm. Yes, distemper is considered, when we talk about dogs getting their shots, their vaccines, basically. Distemper is included in what we call the core vaccines. That's a group of illnesses that are oftentimes combined in one vaccine. Distemper, parvovirus, adenovirus, that are part of the core vaccine protocol. So when puppy shots, we talk about that. When you get a puppy, they say they have to get their shots, right. But also dogs yearly for boosters of these things. And it's important to know, not just getting a shot, but the proper protocol for it. So as you mentioned, dogs that have been vaccinated for it have to go in yearly for boosters, and puppies have to have a series of shots, oftentimes starting around 6 to 8 weeks of age. And it's not so much important about how early to start, but also when to stop. They've discovered that some dogs can get very vulnerable around, as I said, up to 4 months of age. So the last vaccine should be given anywhere between like 12 to 14 weeks of age if possible.
And what is treatment like once you bring let's say you take your dog into the vet and they say, yes, they do have distemper. What is treatment like? Is it just medicine, or what is it?
Well, since there is no antiviral for this disease, it's just symptomatic care. They'll diagnose it through doing a blood test, a PCR, but oftentimes the signs enough warrant treatment, and usually supportive care. So fluids to prevent dehydration, medication to stop vomiting, and antibiotics to treat secondary bacterial infections. But other than that, it's just a matter of treating with the signs as they come up. So if a dog starts having neurologic signs, they have to be given medication to prevent seizures, etc. It's important to also realize that 1 in 2 dogs can die from this, and those that survive may have some residual signs for the rest of their lives. Something as minor as tooth discoloration of their permanent teeth to hardness of the pads called, it used to be called hard pad disease, but even more importantly, they can have neurologic twitches through the rest of their life. So I know the dogs survive, and they can live with this, but it's still problematic.
Wow.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. Dr. Jerry Klein, Chief Veterinarian from the American Kennel Club. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Much.
You're a wealth of knowledge. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You as well.
Yeah, thank you. We'll have to call on him once again. He was gave a really good
information.
Absolutely. This morning we wanted to, of course, let's go ahead and go. I know we're closing up, but we have another hour of Fox 10 Talks happening. Let's go to the poll question, because we started with Ron this morning because, we wanted to get right to him. He was very busy out there perusing the streets of Minnesota, finding.
He's having fun.
He is. It's been so great. Here's your poll question of the day, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think Trump will be able to achieve a peaceful end to the Russia-Ukraine war? This is because, of course, ahead of the meeting with Putin tomorrow in Alaska. 67% of you say maybe. It will be very difficult getting Putin and Zelensky to agree on anything. 25% of you say yes. If anyone can break through to Putin, it's Trump. Let me throw up the YouTube poll. And Anita, you want to go over that one?
Yeah, these are always different. And it's so fascinating how the results are. 20% of you are saying yes. If anyone can break through to Putin, it's Trump. No, there will be no peaceful end to the war. 58%.
Wow.
And 22% of you are saying maybe, but it will be very hard getting Russia and Ukraine to agree. So some very different opinions there. But, we just have to wait to see what does happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, for sure. And 1,000 votes.
That's a lot.
Already in 2 hours.
Well, we've been talking about this, watching this, reporting on it for over 3 years now.
Yes.
And a lot of people would like to see a resolution to this conflict.
I think
Too
so
many
as
lives
well.
lost.
Absolutely.
So true. We also want to, this morning, ASU started move-in, right, for classes.
Exciting.
And I want to throw this up. It takes us back to the days when we did move in for college, or we did graduate from college. Dave, do we have those photos? Do we know where they're at? We have a photo of Isabella. And
our most recent college grad.
6 years ago this week.
Oh, yes, there you are, and your beautiful family. Oh, my gosh. What was that like? I just dropped off a daughter at college. We'll talk about that in a brief moment when I show my photo. But what was that like this day? Were you excited, happy, worried, scared?
It was so fun. It was literally 6 years ago this week.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
that you moved
right.
in or you graduated?
That I
moved in.
So I moved into the ASU dorms downtown, just a couple streets away. It was fun, but we didn't know how hot it was going to be.
Oh.
And
Right.
all of my gummy vitamins I had purchased melted while we were moving in.
Oh, no.
But it was fun and it was hot and it was about 1:15, so we were dying.
Oh, my
A
goodness.
little bit of chaos there. Did you know your roommate? Or
we
was it a
had
surprise?
Met in May. We met when I toured the school. ASU had this really cool thing where you can pick your roommate. You guys can be friends on social media.
Oh,
so
nice.
we got to meet. It was cool.
Yeah. Okay. Let's throw. Can we throw that photo back up, Ronnie? I don't know where to find it. But we have you, of course. And let me give you a little bit of background. So you went to college. And was your mom crying?
No, but I was crying.
Oh my gosh, I
parents
love
were
you.
Crying, I was crying.
Okay, so this is my daughter, Kiana. This is not when I graduated with my undergrad, but this is when I graduated with my master's degree. And Gary came, brought Kiana, but we just dropped Kiana off at college. And so you were crying at yours, but and she was crying at hers too, but we were bawling. And
You were crying this morning during the ASU live shot.
No.
It's emotional.
Well, yeah, the live shot. Well, I was watching the mom start crying, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Here's the thing: is that
Tugged on your heart.
it did because it took me right back to that moment, and it was I broke down in the drive-through at In-N-Out because we went to go grab a burger afterwards, and I lost it, and then I lost it again when we drove home, and I walked past her bedroom, and she wasn't in there, and I lost it again. So we are thinking about all you families, congratulating all of you graduates as you're starting this new. I know it's exciting,
Such an exciting time.
and you can do it. We believe in you. Anita and Ty have another 30 minutes here coming up in just a little bit on Fox 10 Talks. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Okay, good. Yeah, that was great.
Whoa. If you weren't awake yet, you are now. Welcome back in, everyone.
It is 11 o'clock. We're just going to keep things rolling here on Fox 10 Talks on YouTube and our Fox Local app. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Thursday.
I like to say that I go from one hot host to another. So I had Syleste and Isabella. Now I have the two of you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
What a compliment.
Yeah, I was going to say, wow. Thanks, Anita.
My hot co-host.
Oh, we've got a lot going on in the news world, and this is just such a sad story. I think as soon as we started to get these horrific details about this poor little girl, 10-year-old Rebecca Baptiste, you unfortunately, or fortunately, have been covering this very well, but unfortunately, the details are just horrific. Can you give us just a little brief background about what happened to poor little Rebecca?
If people haven't heard of this story yet, 10-year-old Rebecca Baptiste, there's her picture right there. And I think this is actually the 911 calls. Can we hear this?
I don't think we can hear it.
I don't think we can hear it. I think they pulled video, but walk us through what you learned.
But, that's 10-year-old Rebecca Baptiste. She died at Phoenix Children's Hospital on July 30th. After she, struggled for a very long time. The details of this case, just warning anyone if you don't know by now, she was physically abused, and what a doctor called what she went through was torture. I actually have right here with me, this is a 35-page report of just detailing, everything, investigators, the interviews with both Richard Baptiste, Rebecca's father, and Anicia Woods, his girlfriend. They were both her primary caretakers, and they're both being charged with first-degree murder.
And I think the thing that is kind of hard to swallow is that the school that she went to, which is here, Empower School, here in the Phoenix metro area, and I've got to give kudos to them because they have been very loud about them contacting DCS multiple times, 12 times.
Yep. 12 times over 3 years. And they've said, look, Rebecca's voice was not heard while she was alive. So it's our responsibility to amplify that voice now that she's gone. Because also them as a school, they feel like, or they know, and they are confident, and they are driving that we did everything we were supposed to do.
They went to the house. When Rebecca missed, I think you said 9 days.
Yeah, which it's protocol that if a student misses more than, I want to say it's around between 9 and 10 days, then the school resource officer and a principal went to the home to see what's going on. Is everything okay? And they had even seen then she was bruised very badly, and that's how she was found. Bruised from head to toe.
So many questions, right? And now I know we have a lot of state lawmakers. I do believe they have a meeting. Some met yesterday, and then early September. Karen Werner was one of the. If you spoke with her, but we spoke with her, and how did the system fail her? Is what many people are asking.
Yeah, I think, there's a couple cases right now that people are really driving that change needs to be made in terms of what is reported to the Department of Child Safety and where does that go? Because reading through these details, even in it, I think I highlighted it. Richard Baptiste said in here, I did not deserve to be a dad. He even admitted, he said majority of the bruising was excessive force caused by him. But a lot of the details in here are very gruesome that we probably won't even get
the 911 call. Break that down for us a little bit. I know we can't hear it, but what?
Yeah, so yesterday, I actually made the trip up to the Holbrook area where this all happened.
Real quick, just to back up, they moved to Holbrook when?
They lived there for a month. They moved there July 5th.
Okay, so she was done with the school year here at Empower.
She was still enrolled.
Oh, she was still enrolled at Empower.
So Rebecca lived in Phoenix her whole life.
Okay.
Born here, was enrolled in Empower College Prep in Phoenix. She was currently enrolled for this school year. The school had heard they might be moving the kids away. The school has told me they were very concerned about that, but there was nothing they could do. The family moved to a very remote area in Pache County on July 5th, and we went to go see where Rebecca was living for the last month.
So, I think we're going to see it here in a second.
Yes,
but it is
so
very,
this
very
is Highway
remote.
180. Then we had to drive about 7 miles down an unpaved dirt road. So I can, it's so remote. So when you talk about neighbors in the area,
There's
it's not
nobody.
a next door neighbor.
There it is.
There it is. They were living in a yurt style home right there. That is the yurt that Rebecca lived in.
Do we know why they moved out there?
Richard had inherited this property from an uncle, but look how just remote, desolate. That gave me the chills. Those are still children's toys sitting out on that lot. And there's Rebecca Baptiste.
Rebecca had siblings.
She did. Yeah.
What do we know about them?
They are in DCS custody. And just for their safety, and they're right there. That's Richard Baptiste and Anicia Woods. And if you go listen to that 911 call, Anicia Woods is the person on the phone, and it's on Richard's cell phone. And she did not want to give CPR. She put a towel or a T-shirt between Rebecca's mouth and her own mouth when she tried to give rescue breaths. Yes, it is.
She also said she told the 911 dispatcher, she said these injuries were a result of her falling into
a ravine
a canal in the area.
Yes, the 911 call is very strange because it's not really about Rebecca's current condition. It's this story of Rebecca's been running away and she was found by a neighbor. Well, even Richard Baptiste said in police interviews, well, she was probably running away to either get help or water. So it's not, chilling.
They didn't give her water.
They didn't have water at the home or electricity.
Real quick, someone in the chat is asking about the biological mom. Do we know anything about the biological mom?
Unfortunately, the biological mom was not in the picture from the beginning. We know that Rebecca is the oldest, and Richard Baptiste had 4 children with the biological mother, but she had some drug addiction issues and just has never really been in the picture.
Can we go back to the siblings? Is there any information that would lead... and obviously they've been taken out of custody because of what happened to Rebecca. Did they suffer the same fate? Do we know?
We don't know that. Yeah. And I think that's what's tough is, we're talking about this 10-year-old little girl who's no longer with us, but her siblings are still here. So they could have been, witnesses to all of this.
And they're younger.
Let's talk about today because, like I said, that school has really been out front with all of this, and they're holding kind of a memorial for her today, correct?
And they're calling it a celebration of life. It's why I'm wearing pink. They asked everyone to wear magenta, Rebecca's favorite color, because these details are so horrible, but they want to celebrate and remember Rebecca for who she was, not just what happened to her. She was just a bright, happy, very smart young girl, and a life taken way too soon. So that's today at the school, and we'll be there.
So many questions.
Yeah.
And you just have to feel for those administrators too. I mean,
they're heartbroken.
Their hands are really tied because you can't just yank a child when you know that they're being abused.
They're like, I wish I could have taken the kids home, but
I know.
you can't.
You can't do that. And they thought that they were doing the right thing by reporting this 12 times to DCS, and they did this. So.
Well, hopefully this will lead to change, and hopefully this will. It'll come quickly and it will not happen again because it does unfortunately happen much too often. I mean, we have 3 cases here that we're looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So
well, sorry you have to report the story.
I know, but you know what? I've told myself if, we can get justice not only for Rebecca, but hopefully, other kids moving forward. So.
All right. I keep saying this, and I'm going to say it again. Kinsey, please come back when you have like a fun story, like a new candy store opening.
How about this? When justice is served.
That would be a great story.
Good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Thanks, Kinsey.
Kinsey, we appreciate it. All right, should we talk about this? I thought this was pretty interesting here this morning. On a much lighter note, Gallup poll just came out with a new survey, and I thought this was really interesting. The percentage of U.S. adults who say they are consuming alcohol has fallen to 54%, which is the lowest by 1 percentage point in Gallup's nearly 90-year trend.
Wow.
So a lot of people deciding not to drink anymore.
Do we know why?
They said a lot of
reason?
They say they think a lot of younger people know that the health repercussions of drinking, and they also said that with more and more municipalities allowing weed use, that they think maybe that has something to do with it. More people are choosing something a little bit more natural than alcohol.
I think also, it's interesting because you chat with people who grew up maybe in the 70s and the 80s. And I think the DUI laws were very different as well. And so there are, different repercussions. Very interesting. Okay. ASU moving. Do you remember first day college or moving in? Do you remember moving in?
Yeah.
My roommate beat me and moved in before I did. She took the bottom bunk.
Did you want the bottom bunk?
No, I did. I did not want that top bunk. Can you imagine crawling into that top bunk after you're in college?
Well,
maybe a libation or two. 3, 4.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's not happening.
That's not happening
That's
at
not
ASU.
happening at ASU.
That's not happening at ASU. But it's so exciting moving into the dorms for the first day.
We are excited to welcome 16,500 Sun Devils to living on campus here this upcoming fall. And we are welcoming them and kicking them off this day here at our downtown location and proceeding throughout the weekend and into early next week.
Now, kind of put this into perspective, 16,500, I mean, that is a big number. Is that kind of on par with what you guys have had in years past, or is this a bigger class, smaller class?
Well, ASU continues to grow. And so we, in addition to having our students moving in on campus across all of our 4 Phoenix metropolitan areas, are also opening up a new residential community in Tempe as well, which houses an additional 800 students.
Wow. I was Googling it yesterday when we were initially talking about this. ASU is the largest university in the nation when it comes to enrollment.
Absolutely. So ASU has over 194,000 students who are enrolled. Now that's looking at fall, spring, and summer enrollments, but ASU continues to set markers all over the place, including 42,000 new incoming students this fall, which is a 5% increase from just last year.
Wow. Let's talk about this. I mean, this is obviously a huge transition from folks that are more than likely living with their parents to kind of living on their own for the first time. How do you guys at ASU kind of, I guess, bridge that gap between, being under mom and dad's roof to now having a lot of independence?
Yeah, so we know that this is an exciting milestone for all of our students and their families. And so this starts the beginning of new friendships and personal growth as well. We have thousands of move-in volunteers across our campus locations who are here to help our Sun Devils move into their new home, away from home, in a smooth and successful transition.
Pretty amazing. I know that we had a reporter out there. We will have continuing coverage throughout the day. I'm sure we'll be in Tempe as that move-in continues. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Have fun.
All right, well, coming up in about 2 minutes, we have a relationship
Christiana,
expert.
great job.
Yeah, great. Get your questions ready, folks. If you have any questions about being married, not married, dating, you name it, we have a doctor in the house.
A doctor in the house.
Doctor
Love.
in the house.
We'll be right back. All right, welcome on in. We have Dr. Noura here. All right, give us your title. I love your title. Do you know what your title is? I called you Dr. Love.
Oh, huh?
Yeah, the doctor is in the house.
Kind of creepy.
That does sound kind of creepy. You're right. What is your real title then?
Well, so my training, my formal training is in marriage and therapy, but I am a couples counselor, couples therapist, a love coach.
Okay.
Dr. Love is not wrong, but it's also just weird.
I apologize that I gave you that name.
No, it's fine.
We'll take it back.
I think we all need help from Dr. Love. I mean, whether you're single and trying to mingle, whether you're dating, whether you're married or divorced, I don't care what anyone says. Sorry, guys. I'm going to put it down that relationships are tough.
Yes.
They're very, very tough. I follow you on Instagram, and you're talking about.
I do too, by the way.
Yes, because you put out the and your doctor, it's NURAMOWZOON is your handle on Instagram, and so once again we have a live chat going. If anyone has questions, let us know because we're happy to share them. Subtle attempts at connection that you might be dismissing.
Go. That's one of the things I love.
Wait, what was the question?
Well, it's a topic. Subtle
topic.
attempts, at connection that you might be dismissing.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, we can't hear you. Okay,
We're
get
good.
closer,
We're good.
closer.
Sorry. We get too excited when she's here.
Yeah.
I know, and I veer away from the microphone. I hate the spotlight. I'm just kidding. So, yeah, one of the things I talk about with my clients a lot is how easy it is to miss the little moments and the little opportunities of connection with their partners, and how over time that can create distance. So John Gottman refers to these as bids. Bids for connection are anything as overt as what are we going to do for our anniversary? Or I want to take a trip to Paris this year. I miss you. Let's go on a date. And as subtle as come look at the sunset with me, or come look at this tomato that grew in the garden that I have in the backyard.
Or let me bring you a cup of coffee. Would you like a cup of coffee?
Yeah. So sometimes we get so caught up in day-to-day overwhelm that we'll say things like, you've seen one sunset, you've seen them all. Or like, babe, show me the tomato when it's ready to be in my salad. Or whatever.
Just go pick it. It's fine. I'm busy.
Yeah. Not realizing that this was just a little moment that I wanted to share with you. I think in a lot of younger generations, it's like, did you see the meme I sent or the TikTok I sent you or whatever?
I wanted to bring in technology. Let's talk about dating and technology because, I mean, back in the day, you would go, meet people through work or at a bar. I think that people say that. Does people actually meet at the bar?
They do.
Okay.
I think if you go, let's say you're going out socially on a Friday night with a group of friends, you might meet someone, who's there with another group of friends.
I only know of like one person that's ever met someone at a bar.
Same. Statistically, the most common way to meet somebody successfully is through a mutual friend.
I was going to say, or a grocery store. I don't know. It doesn't have to be a bar.
No one meets anybody at a grocery store either.
It doesn't have to be a bar.
You watch too many rom-coms, Anita.
I'm a hopeless romantic.
Do you need help slicing that watermelon?
I'm a hopeless romantic. See, that's a
watermelon.
You know what that was right there? You know what that was right there? That was a subtle attempt at connecting with me, and I'm not going to dismiss it, Ty.
She did dismiss it.
She did.
Yeah, she did. But okay, go back to my original question before we derailed.
Yes.
People are now turning to Tinder, what's the other? Hinge, all of these dating apps. Bumble, that's another big one. Now, is this kind of like taking away that, I don't know, that courtingship or whatever? I don't know what the best word to say.
Yeah.
The human connection,
The human connection, yeah, because you're doing everything via your screen.
Yeah.
I am not the biggest fan, and the data is a little bit mixed. It's not the most successful. And I think there's a lot of things going on with it. For one thing, it gives it, first of all, we have to realize that these apps would go bust if they were actually successful.
Oh, you know what? That's a really good point.
Yeah. So they rely on you searching. Mm-hmm. They don't rely on you actually finding your match. They have, the last time I checked, there's like a less than 1% success rate.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
dismal.
It's awful. It's there, so they can say that it's there, but it's not
I
great.
think one of the creators, we just had this in the news, they had to settle a lawsuit of some type or some type of litigation because of false advertising.
Oh,
Basically, I'll Google it while we're chatting, but I thought that was interesting. Like, do they promise love and marriage? Do they promise happily ever after? And they're not delivering. Are people, like Ty said, it's just too difficult to find that connection?
The thing is that it relies on presenting yourself in a certain way. So if you don't have the greatest photo, or if you don't want to post a photo showcasing your body, you're going to get swiped on.
I was chatting with a photographer of ours. I'm going to say he's in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. And he's...
Name names. No, I'm just kidding.
I can if you want me to. He would probably come talk about it, honestly. It just kind of popped in my head, though. He said that it makes dating really tough because he very easily will dismiss so he might be chatting with someone and then they'll say something that he doesn't quite like, and then, you know what, I don't want to talk to you anymore. But if you're having a real conversation with someone at a coffee shop, or let's say your friend throws a party and says, hey, this is Ty meet Anita, and you're chatting, you can read the body language, and you don't, it's not as easy to say, I don't like you.
No, I think there's a lot to be said for the magic that happens in real life. There's chemistry, there's energy. People become more or less attractive in person. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. And also what you were just referring to is known as the paradox of choice. When I always give this example of when you go to Cheesecake Factory, you're like, I don't know. You're flipping through the menu. Everything looks good. Whatever you get, you think wasn't as good as what your friend got. But when you go to In-N-Out, you've got 2 things to pick from, 3 things to pick from, and everybody's happy. Everybody loves it. So the more choice you have, actually, this is founded in data. The more choice you have, the harder it is to pick, and the less happy you are with what you pick.
Interesting.
And that really translates into the online dating world. I think we discount. We play it safe behind our screens, and we try to curate things.
Yes, and that's the problem, because the real life is not curated.
It doesn't last.
It's a little messy.
So Charles David said digital courtship. Very interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to ask you, you have been in this realm for quite a while. What are some of the things that couples are coming to you with that are the big issues that you see kind of day in, day out?
Yeah, maybe now versus 5 years ago, or however.
Yeah. I think the strong and steady one is conflict, and how to have healthy conflict.
What does that mean exactly?
Meaning, how do you use conflict as an opportunity to actually deepen understanding and grow closer, versus letting it just erode the relationship?
Oh,
so
gotcha.
when you say conflict, what's the conflict over? What is it about?
It's a clash of anything. It could be a clash of how to spend money, or how to maintain the household.
So it could be something small or big.
Yeah.
But that's the conflict, and then it can potentially kind of crumble your relationship.
Right. And what I see a lot is people who didn't have healthy conflict modeled for them, because healthy conflict is focused on growth and creating closeness, whereas negative conflict just chips away at the relationship and leaves you feeling like enemies at the end, rather than actually teammates.
So is this where you would say communication is key?
Yes, but I feel like that's a very
cliche.
It's a cliche that people don't really understand. I think it's not just communication. I think it's also humility is key. A willingness to change your mind and to say I didn't think about it that way. That's a different way for me to think about it. I appreciate that. Knowing when you're in the headspace for a conversation. Too many times we run headfirst into a conversation when we're just like seeing red and furious, and that's the worst time to have a hard conversation. So not really knowing how to time it is a big part of the problem. So there's a lot. It requires a lot of self-regulation, a lot of, like I said, humility, patience. And are you in it to be proven right and to win, or are you in it because you want to get them a little bit better? You want to feel closer to them.
I've been working a lot on reacting. I don't know if that's part of that, but even when
responding versus reacting.
Yeah. And so sometimes not, I guess, responding in anger, but maybe walking away, or also, and then thinking about it and coming back later, but also talking about, thinking about what I want to say. So instead of giving that immediate reaction, like, no, we're not doing that. No, we're not buying that. Saying, okay, let's think about it, or let's talk about it and weigh the pros and cons and maybe try to see his side of it.
So you're talking about...
I'm trying.
Yeah, and
I'm trying.
It's so important. You're talking about responding rather than reacting.
Okay.
So reacting is like a very knee-jerk...
Like, no, we're not doing it.
Yeah, and it's also, it involves like, I'm just like waiting for you to say something that I can prove wrong. Like, no, I did the dishes last week and I cooked it. Like, I'm waiting. Whereas responding is focused on understanding what they're saying and processing it, and then just like thoughtfully responding to what was said rather than defending your position.
So if, back to the dating apps, not a great idea.
I don't love it.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
And I don't either. I mean, it would be weird to me. So what do you recommend then? We know a lot of single people at a lot of different age groups.
Yeah.
What do you recommend? How do you get out there and meet somebody without being weird? Because again, in this day and age, you don't just want to walk up to someone and be like, do you need help with that watermelon?
Well, how did they do it for hundreds of years though?
I
like,
know that
we didn't have this problem before. Like, we're still existing in the same world. I mean, that's not necessarily the best way to put it because the world has changed a lot.
Sure.
But all of the avenues that existed before still exist now. We're just, technology, I think, has, as much as I love it, I think it has made us more timid and more anxious to communicate. If you take your headphones out, smile at the people around you, not to flirt. You could be smiling at somebody who's, you know, looking at the watermelons next to you.
Not like that. Do it again. That's creepy.
But you wouldn't stop to ask me if I needed help with my watermelon.
I'd be like, oh, that girl needs to
get
me away.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah. No, you just interact with the world around you. And I think people respond to energy. I also think people should keep in mind their single friends and be like, I would love for you to meet this other friend of mine. That's the most successful way for people to meet. So keep this in mind. Use your own judgment of like, I've got this person, they're great, and you should meet this person. And you just, if at minimum, you just expand your friend circle.
There you go.
It's not a bad idea.
We only have 45 seconds left. It flies by.
We're going to have to have you back on. You'll be one of our
Yes.
monthlies. How do people find
Oh my
you?
God, I would love that.
Okay, done.
You can look me up on the socials at Dr. Nura Mozoon.
But not the dating app.
No dating apps.
I'm not on the. I mean, I am single, but I'm not on the dating apps.
Okay.
And also my website with the same. You just Google my name.
Okay.
It's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
Thanks for
We'll
coming
have
in.
Dave put it up. Always
That
great
was fun.
advice.
So good to see you guys.
It'll be like, well, we need something like Love Wednesdays because we have Muscle Monday. We'll figure it out.
Ooh,
We're going to figure it out.
I can come and give advice.
Okay.
Oh,
People
love
can
it,
write in
guys.
advice.
Yeah.
guys.
I love it. All right. Des is next. You guys stay with us.
Anita.
Hi.
And Andy.
Hello.
Give a hello.
Hello, hello.
And was this our mystery cam here?
I don't know.
A look at that?
This wasn't.
No,
the
it's just a
mystery
nice
earlier.
view. Oh,
The
hey,
mystery
I was
cam-
leaving that up while I got the headphones situated.
I'm always plugging in as I'm running in. We're always just running around
Hey,
all over the place.
There's
right?
what, like less
Walking
than
in.
2 minutes
I
to
know.
switch
pitch change.
seats here.
Before
There
we
go.
know it,
How's
we're
that
going to have
looking, guys?
multiple studios.
That'd
and
be
we're gonna
fun.
have all the different things.
Oh,
We'll just
gosh.
be, we'll just be in boxes. We won't
Yeah.
even be together. We'll
We
just
had
be
a
in
love
boxes.
doctor on earlier, you guys. We were
Oh, what'd they
talking
talk about?
and everyone here is in relationships married.
Married.
Yeah.
But if you had to go meet someone right now,
I
how would you
wouldn't-
do
oh.
it? I know.
I probably would not.
That's
Yeah.
terrifying.
I'd be like,
terrifying.
I
I don't know.
don't either.
I don't know how.
Well, the gym,
Oh, that's a good one.
but I don't know. A lot of muscle
would hope
heads maybe
work.
though there.
I don't know if approaching a woman at the gym is something that
Yeah,
is
it's
very
true.
socially acceptable.
She
All
said,
right, the grocery store, but it's
That's
like
a good
I
one.
No,
mean,
that's what I said. I'm like, I would say
Yeah.
hi to someone at the
A
grocery
Trader
store.
Joe's would be a
Yeah.
good spot, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not
Whole Foods, and you know
Yeah.
he's got maybe a little money.
correct.
Oh, hey.
Healthy. That's good.
Yeah, I don't know.
She suggested if you're single, have your friends introduce you to people.
What if you don't have any friends?
You could, but see,
I can introduce you to some people.
well, but that's and now because we are married,
Yeah.
I'm sure we all
Oh,
have
God.
some single friends. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got no one for you.
No.
Like
No.
all my friends are married.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
No.
I'm
You
hoping
know?
that my son will translate to friends so we can get through like the sporting thing. I hope that's where the friendships,
There we
adult
go.
friendships come from.
Oh, I see. So
We're
you're
not
gonna
old
meet
enough
other-
yet.
Okay,
Yeah, other
okay.
parents.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, you'll get there because he's
He's almost-
two,
yeah,
almost
almost
two,
two.
two this
Two.
weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not quite there
Yeah.
yet, but we'll get there.
Well, I don't know what part of the valley you're in, but East Valley.
West Valley.
Oh, okay. Well, they probably have something similar.
Did you hear that
There's-
little like?
Oh, Andy,
I'm
I
not
wish
judging.
we were.
I'm right-
I wish
I'm right
no,
smack in the middle.
no. I meant I wish we were neighbors because
I
you
know.
can, come hang out. But the West
Yeah,
Valley,
that's a
East
long
Valley.
way to
It's
go.
like I can't drive. That
No,
far. Just
no,
kidding.
we're just.
But we have something. The
I'm gonna
I-9
scoot over.
Sports in the
Oh,
East
yeah.
Valley. They can start at 3.
Oh, cool.
So you just have to wait like one more year, and
Oh,
then he's
man.
gonna get all his
Let
sports
him go.
friends.
Let him go play some soccer, some t-ball.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what they start off with,
Oh.
soccer, and it's hilarious because
Oh,
none of them know how to play or kick the
Oh, yeah.
ball or anything.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're
But
in the
they are
backyard.
making friends.
Yes, we will. He will make friends, and then I will make friends through
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So he's
I
kind of
love
my.
that you're depending on your 2-year-old.
Yeah,
I got that.
he's kind of like my wingman for friends.
Already, you're
Yeah.
like, it's bars. Let's go play soccer.
Your wife is watching, like, wait a second, wingman, sir. Careful.
For friends,
For
okay.
friends.
You
yeah,
mentioned
no.
gym, and I will say I've made a lot of friends practicing yoga.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
that's
then-
the gym.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
And so
church.
yes, absolutely. That's a really good
That's a good
one.
one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think the male friendship, female friendship is a little bit different. I don't know if I would. I would do yoga, but I don't know if I want to make friends with people that are doing yoga too. But I don't know if I'm when I'm stretching and doing yoga, I'm not in a good place. Like my hamstrings are burning. Like I'm probably
You're
not the
struggling. You're
I'm
like,
not
I'm
the
not trying to have a
friendliest person. Yeah,
conversation
like,
right now.
don't talk to me right now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't think I'd come off as a good friend in that
Yeah.
moment.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's just what I'm saying.
So wait, where
Okay.
did she end up saying the best places to meet?
Friends. So,
Just
so
the
have your friends
friends, the
introduce
friend
you to
network.
people and
Okay.
say, hey, I've got someone for you. Or
Do they still do like the blind date thing? Is that still like a big push or
we
no?
didn't get to that, but
Okay.
she said dating apps are. She's not a huge fan of the dating apps, and I will say that I met my husband before dating apps, and I think I would hesitate as well. I love going
I think
on
so too.
when our single young kids here in the newsroom are like, hey, look what I'm doing. Swipe right,
Swipe
Vicariously
left,
through
right, swipe
them.
up, down.
But,
What? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I would think that people are. There's too much deception possibly on the dating apps. I
Yeah.
would be too worried that people are not being honest with their picture, their information, and
It gets a little gamey. It gets a little
a little
bit.
bit gamey. I like
Yeah.
I like the contact.
I agree. And now with AI,
Yeah.
I mean, how do you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
How do you know he's
That's
real or
scary.
she's real?
Yeah,
It's scary.
Don't want to be catfished. That would be
So-
embarrassing. That would bring you down.
Oh wait, Dave is saying yoga's too feminine. Dave, I will tell you,
Oh,
no.
ouch.
we've got some like
He went right
Phoenix
for the
Suns
jugular.
and some NFL players who come to the yoga studio, and that is like a total enhancement. But I'm a yogi. I love the yoga. We'll do a yoga segment.
Yeah, I'm all good. Namaste,
No, I agree.
man.
And when David was playing in his playing days, they would do a lot of Pilates
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
I mean, it's good. You need that mobility, strength.
Stretching
flexibility.
the hamstrings, Andy.
I'm a game for it. My mom, my sister, they're all about it. I've done it. I'm a fan of yoga, but it's working out, yoga or otherwise. I don't think I'm the most friendly.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like
that's
okay.
my mindset.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's okay.
I'm going to the gym to work out.
That's okay.
You're lifting
not
heavy.
Yeah, not there to have friends.
Well, that sounds like it was an interesting
Yeah, she's
conversation.
great. We'll have to have her back on.
Yeah,
that's
and then
good.
you guys
We can pick her brain.
Yeah, hey,
about
any advice
friends.
we can get.
I mean, but I do. I don't feel bad for those out there living the single life right now because I hear those waters are pretty difficult.
We were talking about the language. I don't know if I could communicate. Like
Half
it's
the
just the
time-
language barrier.
Half the time when I want to kick my husband out, I think, you know what? I don't want to be single again.
I know, really.
I don't
Start
wanna be
all
single
over?
again.
All those years of training and grooming that you've already done?
Yeah.
You don't want to lose that.
Johnny, I love you.
I
Poor
don't even know where to
Johnny.
start.
All right. Shall we jump into our topics for today? Andy, you guys are always busy up there.
Yeah.
You're following headlines
Correct.
all over the country.
Yep.
And we're getting ready, obviously, for this big summit and
Correct.
meeting tomorrow with President Trump
Correct.
and Putin.
Yep, and they're going to be there tomorrow. Anchorage, we know a little bit more details. We talked the last several days, and it's like piece by piece by piece that we're getting out. They're getting around like midday local time for people in Phoenix. So about 3 o'clock Eastern time is kind of when everything starts. They all arrive.
Late.
Yeah, and then there's going to be a press conference afterwards. We do know that, so that is going to be interesting.
Joint, too, with both of them.
Exactly,
Mhm.
and that's maybe something that President Trump is more comfortable with, Putin's less so comfortable with, but obviously we can kind of have a post-game meeting press conference for what actually happened in this. So that's going to be really interesting to hear just both what comes out of their mouths, but how they say it and what they're going to say in this meeting together.
I heard someone talking this morning saying ways that Putin can embarrass Trump.
Correct.
And they were talking about things that he could potentially do. Number one, not show up. Number two, just walk away and nothing happens.
Correct.
What are the chances that he isn't going to show up?
Well, that was something that like Zelensky and European leaders were talking about. They had like a meeting, all scenarios meeting of what could happen. And I imagine Trump and that administration is doing kind of a similar conversation. We've seen things unfold very quickly. We saw it in the Oval Office with Zelensky and their confrontation live happening. So this one probably going to be less so that way. But obviously there is good and bad. Trump said right away he'll know if it's going to be good or bad. So yeah, it could blow up. It could have something dramatic happen, or it could be just hey, we couldn't agree to anything and just walk away. Probably maybe less likely that happened, but we'll see.
Let's say they do agree.
Yeah.
Would this be just monumental?
I don't know if anything's going to come of this because Zelensky's not there. So they may be like, hey, this is what we want in terms of land concessions. And land concessions is going to be the big really point of it is how much Ukraine is maybe giving up, how much are they not giving up, how much Russia wants. So no matter what the lines are drawn at this meeting, I don't know if the Ukrainians are going to be on board with that. So Trump has also said that this is kind of just a free talk. So maybe they won't draw the lines directly. It'll be like hey, this is what we're thinking. We're going to bring it to Zelensky. So that will be the component where even if something does big come of it, there has to be an agreement down the road at a second meeting or when they meet with European leaders.
Yeah. And there's a Fox headline out today where Trump says, this is kind of like a game of chess. Yeah. But the number that he gave, he says that he gives this a 25% chance of failing. I don't know. That's not giving us a whole lot of hope. And I'm going to go to the Dave cam now because Dave...
Dave was not ready.
Sorry.
Dave, you always have to be ready,
buddy. It was part of our poll question, right, Dave? And there are some viewers that left some comments this morning. Do you want to read off some of those?
That's true. Yeah, we had more than 1,300 votes in our poll on YouTube today. 2 comments really stuck out. Cole from Tempe says, hopefully Trump can appeal to Putin's sense of business and emphasize how this is a net loss to both parties involved and can help both Ukraine and Russia transition from a wartime economy to a peacetime economy that can benefit them both and bring in new opportunities for them both. And then Jonathan Caldwell, 6342, says better people have tried and failed to get through to Putin. I hope for a peaceful solution on Ukraine's terms, but it's a long shot to say the least. So amazing comments, very insightful. Keep it up and keep the engagement coming, guys.
All right. Good job, guys. Well, and Trump did a couple interviews, a radio interview in particular, where he said this meeting is kind of just a setup for the second one. I mean, right. We realize there can be no real solution without Zelensky at the table here.
Yeah, and they mentioned chess. It might be a different game because Zelensky's saying they may be playing poker, saying they're bluffing. So we'll see. And the economy point is kind of interesting because Trump has threatened sanctions against Russia, and then he says, I don't know.
Other countries as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that is a piece of leverage that Trump might use in terms of the economy. He's also said that he doesn't know if sanctions will actually work on Russia. So I don't know the economy point of it, and we know kind of the GDP of Russia is not very high. They are struggling. Sanctions would make it worse, but like how much worse? So the economy point is interesting.
And do you think at this point that Putin even believes that?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's that date has been pushed back and pushed back on the tariffs, and the percentages have changed. So it'll, I mean, interesting.
You almost have
for sure.
to enforce it. You have to call his bluff, or something has to happen in order for them to say, okay.
Yeah, and they've had like peace discussions before, and then Putin has bombed Ukraine in some form or fashion, and they're like, hey, like we just had a talk, like let's not do that. And it's just like, will that happen like while the meeting is going on? Like, will they be bombing Ukraine still? And it's like, hey, we just talked about what we're doing.
Do you think Zelensky will be prepared for that? Because you're right. We've seen these meetings with the president and Putin in May and June, July. And then a couple days later, he goes around or goes back and, you know, he's bombed. So do you think Zelensky might be on the fence a little?
I don't think Zelensky believes anything is going to come from this. He's hopeful that it does, but I don't think he does because obviously from Putin's point of view, Ukraine is technically a part of Russia. So to say that they think anything's going to come of it, potentially positively, I don't think they're tremendously optimistic. I don't know.
We shall see, right?
Yeah.
Because this meeting is happening tomorrow. So what time again?
Until they're in the room.
Well,
It's scheduled to happen.
Yes.
It's scheduled to happen.
Anything, lots of things change.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And then you guys are busy upstairs. You're following a potential hurricane and a few other things.
Hurricane Aaron, potentially. It's a tropical storm right now. Could be a hurricane by tomorrow. It's going to take a hard turn to the right. So it's very, very, very unlikely that it makes landfall, but there'll still be like impacts along the coast. And this also sets up for a busy hurricane season. So we're seeing what's coming. Texas redistricting, California potentially redistricting, drawing a new congressional map as well. So that has some national ramifications.
Okay. And we'll leave it at that. Stick around. We have a quick break. We'll be right back here in just a sec.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So you'll be
He's on Zoom, right? All right, this was the mystery cam, you guys. And once again, I forgot to tell folks to get in their guesses.
Shoot. We give him a little bit.
I know. You know what? Just simmer on this for a second.
Simmer.
And do we want to reveal it or do we want to wait? Maybe right after our interview.
Let's wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's let people
simmer
think
on
about
that.
it.
Simmer.
Go
You
ahead.
can't look at it. I don't want to look at it. I got to.
Oh, I just did. Oh, you're
my
right.
God.
Oops.
Wow. I didn't see it.
I did. I'm not even going to lie, y'all. I just looked at the answer. So I'll just put it under there. And you guys can guess. So think on that for a second. Get your guesses in.
I just got to read the room here and see if I.
Right. And then we'll revisit this here in a second. But we want to get to journalist, fellow Fox 5 journalist in Washington, Guy Lambert. Arguably one of the most recognized voices in Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey guys, good to see you. By the way, the background looks amazing. I'm truly jealous. You got just that scenic view. I wish I happened to be there.
This is
Do
totally
you want
real.
us to send you a palm tree or two? We could probably arrange for
Oh
that.
my gosh. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm looking at, let's say, oak trees, and that gets a little old after a while once you've been here in the nation's capital. So.
Hey, but real quick, what's the temp there today? Because we'd probably like to trade out for that.
But you know what? It's a hot day here. I got to tell you, I think it's about 92. The dew point around 73 or so. So that's
really
typical
humid.
in the month of August. But here's the difference, real quick, guys. Here in D.C., it's all about humidity.
Yep.
And so whereas it's a little bit drier there, when you step out the door here, you're immediately, let's say, sweating from head to toe as soon as you walk to the car.
Yeah,
I would take a dry heat.
Okay, wait, never mind. I guess we'll keep our triple
take the
digits.
dry heat.
Yeah, but thank you again for taking some time out of your day to chat with us here. A lot has been happening there in your neck of the woods. And I was on your website here, Fox 5 Washington, D.C., and one of the headlines for today is D.C. Mayor Bowser flies to Martha's Vineyard while city is under federal control. Walk us through a little bit of what's happening there in D.C. and what's going on.
Well, it's interesting. You know, some would say it has a script made for a movie. Depending on which side of the fence you sit on, it could very well be a horror movie. What I can tell you is it's now been several days since President Trump, in essence, enacted federal control over the Metropolitan Police Department, meaning he is now the man in charge over the police department here in Washington, D.C., residents about 700,000 in all. For the first couple of days, it was somewhat quiet. And then last night, we saw a surge, if you will, of federal officials. So whether it be the DEA, FBI, ICE, and agencies of the like, in a particular area. In this case, it happened to be 14th Street in the U Street corridor. That's right in the heart of downtown D.C. I've been to your city one time. I would equate that to, let's say, Jefferson Street, right there by the arena. And so with that being said, it had a number of checkpoints. Folks were driving, and they were looking for, let's say, immigration status and vehicle inspections as well. A number of residents found that to be somewhat offensive. And what's really interesting, some of the folks that we had on today, what they made mention of is accountability. And what you're seeing now with regard to the National Guard, DEA, and FBI are folks policing the area that don't necessarily live in the area and aren't held accountable by the residents of Washington, D.C. And so a number of folks were, in essence, crying foul about that. And what's really interesting is the whole probable cause thing. You know, never in a million years did you think in the nation's capital that would have to be discussed. And so the question is, what rights does one have when approached by an official and or an officer? And for the most part, it is we had to, in essence, educate folks to make sure that they are up to par so that they are in compliance as well.
Yeah.
Real quick, with regards to with the mayor, I was in Martha's Vineyard this weekend, and I happened to know that she was due to fly to Martha's Vineyard. To my understanding, several of her family members ended up flying to the vineyard the same day the president made the announcement that, in essence, he was taking over D.C. She has been very vocal. I know that the two have had not her, but her and Pam Bondi have had several conversations surrounding what's to be expected. And I guess now it's just a wait and see.
Yeah, that is so very true. And you mentioned some of those checkpoints, and they kind of equate them to like DUI checkpoints almost, if you've seen them in different areas of the city. There's also questions about the sanctuary city status. Can you get into that a little bit? Because Trump said it during the Oval Office meeting. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, it's not in essence that DC has been aligned with the sanctuary city, but what I can tell you is that for the most part, we are being used, we being the nation's capital, yet again, 700,000 residents, as a test city, perhaps for issues that cities that have seen crime in the past. What's interesting about that is that if you look at the stats, and this is where a number of the local officials, so let's say the council members, we had Robert White, one of the city council members in Washington, D.C. on my show, the Fox 5 Live Zone here in D.C., and he made the point that he believes the president in essence, federalized the Metropolitan Police Department using a false pretense, meaning that crime was at an all-time high. However, if you really look at the numbers and compare it to last year, crime is down 30%. And so, in essence, a number of folks are saying, hey, we understand that, no one wants crime. My hand is raised high. I do not want that. And I think a number of residents here in the nation's capital are agreeing and siding with that. It's just how it's unfolded that everyone is still trying to wrap their head around.
So, Guy, I'm glad you actually said that. Like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants high crime. Nobody wants anybody getting hurt. You want to feel safe in the city you live, you work, and you play in. So can you, but we hear the president describing D.C., crime, bloodshed, bedlam, squalor. It sounds like a nightmare. You live there.
Yeah.
What is it like to live there? Is that an accurate depiction?
I would disagree. I would say, though, last year, carjackings, dear God, nearly got an all-time high to the point where I was somewhat fearful to drive my car. I live in the Navy Yard, which is a very prominent area. A lot of the members on the Hill live in that area as well. We have seen an influx of, let's say, youth that have invaded that area and are, I would argue, creating mayhem. So whether it's riding those scooters that you see folks riding in certain cities in the middle of the street, throwing
those
them
dang
everywhere.
E-bikes.
Whether it's
scooters.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and things of that nature. We have seen that, but overall, crime, if you want to look at the numbers, if we're going to go by the numbers, crime is overall down. And so that has to be, taken into account when we're having this conversation as well.
And just to piggyback off what Des said, talking about just, is it a safe city? I remember talking to Tom Fitzgerald, one of your colleagues there at Fox 5, about some of the crime that happened there after the murder of those two staffers outside of the Jewish Museum at that event. And we're just talking about the amount of agencies on the ground. It's not just Capitol Police, it's Secret Service, it's different agencies. Can you speak to just the breadth of how many actual agencies are on the ground in DC? And now with this deployment of the National Guard, that number is even larger.
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you come to the nation's capital, it's very different. Obviously, we are a district, and the president, in essence, has yet again federalized the Metropolitan Police Department. In order for that to continue more than 30 days, he has to go to Congress, and Congress then has to vote with regard to, let's say, suspending the D.C. home rule. The president also has the power to say, hey, it's a national emergency, and then continue what we are seeing unfold right before our very eyes right now. With regard to your question, in discussing the other agencies that happen to be here, look, guys, you can drive around. Let's say I drive by the Washington Monument. The park police are very active with regard to, let's say, making sure your vehicle is up to par. If you're speeding, they will typically pull you over. I would say outside of the park police, it's the Metropolitan Police Department that are really active. The Capitol Police, you're only going to see them by the Capitol. I'm not too sure, quite honestly, if they would have not necessarily the right, but be within their jurisdiction to pull one over, let's say by the White House, because it is not close in proximity, if you will, to the actual Capitol. Now what you're seeing is an influx of National Guard, and yet again, the argument, what many folks are saying is, hey, we love it, it's great, but they haven't been trained with regard to community policing. And we all know in the past that perhaps has been an issue and could be an issue when attempting to, let's say, just do their jobs and make sure that we all stay safe.
Absolutely. And I don't know, Guy, if this is in your wheelhouse at all, but it's something we're experiencing even here in Phoenix. the Phoenix Police Department is short officers, and that's something that's come up in regards to staffing there in DC. Bowser did speak to the fact that there's just about a little more than 3,100 officers. Of course, they would like to have more. Has this been a long-term ongoing issue that you've seen DC struggling with, hiring more folks to the force?
By far, yeah. I mean, it's no secret. Look, guys, we live somewhat of a lavish life, I would assume. I mean, we have tough jobs. We're, reporters, anchors, and things of that nature. Imagine having to police a city into which crime is an issue, not as bad as what it has been put forth. But yet again, it's a tough job. It's hard to hire folks, good folks at that, to then serve and protect.
Yeah.
With that being said, it was really interesting. You made mention of the mayor, and she held a press conference the other day after meeting with Pam Bondi. And I found it truly amazing to the sense of what she said. And whereas obviously she leans to the left, the president obviously leaning to the right, she in essence credited the president, stating that, look, we have been begging time and time again for additional help, additional support. Thank you, Mr. President, for bringing in these additional folks. We just want to make sure that it's done the right way and in a way that can create peace and safety for all. I found that to be rather interesting, whereas the political approach that she took could be viewed by some in her party as being somewhat weak, whereas others view it as being very strong.
Yeah, a different contrast to what we saw in LA, where Mayor Bass, Gavin Newsom talking about, hey, we don't need these people there. Very different tone from Bowser, like you said, Guy.
Absolutely. Guy, we appreciate you so much. We just have about a minute left. We're going to wrap things up with you and get to our mystery cam reveal here. But truly a pleasure speaking with you today. We thank you for carving out the time.
Oh, guys, had a great time. Love to do it anytime. And yeah, get me that palm tree. I'll be waiting.
Yeah. Dave, hey, send your address. Dave, we got to keep him. Dave, I'm going to pull up the Dave cam. Dave, take down his address. All right. We got to send him that palm tree.
Count on you, Dave.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right,
Great
guys.
day.
Have a good one.
Great job, Guy. Thank you.
Wow. We learned a lot there.
Yeah, it was a lot. It's interesting to get their perspective because the District of Columbia is different than a lot of states just based on jurisdiction, just based on how many foreign people are there, just ambassadors and different things alike. So,
and I like how you mentioned, like, they're, kind of always like a testing ground, too. But in a place where they have a lot of those resources, I guess, to do so.
Yeah, because it's like you got Capitol Police, you got Secret Service, you got Homeland Security, you got DEA, you got ATF. Like, you have all of these agencies in one locale.
All right, really quickly, we got about 25 seconds. I looked, so Andy, you could do the reveal.
I'm gonna say something.
What were the mystery cam guesses?
I was gonna say, go for it. Any guesses?
Oh, I think it's switched now. But
okay. I'm going like
I don't know
West
if anyone
Virginia.
guessed there in the comments.
It's like
but
Haley.
we're
gonna reveal it.
Where was it?
Honesdale, Pennsylvania.
All right.
I saw a couple of those in the chat. Really good
See you
guesses.
guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.